to the course. Again, now it is recording. And we have passed 2 sessions just now. Okay?
Are we going to have middle terms next week
Yeah.
during class?
Yeah.
Okay.
Instead of having your weekly quiz, in the week 4, you have midterm quiz, and in the week 8, you have final quiz.
And it lasts like how long?
1 hour.
1 hour. Okay.
1 hour. Yeah, I think it's true. Final quiz, I'm very sure about it, 1 hour. I think your midterm is only again 1 hour.
Okay.
And you have 6 weekly quiz. Week 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, and 4 and 8 are midterm quiz and final quiz. So, is there anything interesting in studying sociology for you or not? You are only taking a course and trying to pass the course. Is there anything serious in your mind or not?
Oh, I think sociology is interesting. I'm very interested in human behavior.
Mhm.
Actually, this might be like superficial to some people, but like I like to watch reality shows for that reason.
Yeah.
Because I think it's funny how people behave in certain situations.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So you see sociology as the science of accurate observation of people in social situations. It is called in biology, it is called in vivo. In vivo, it is in vital life. In viral, it is in vivo, it is observing something, a being in its natural situation, natural position, natural states, and not in laboratory. So if you wanted to choose between psychology and sociology for this purpose, to look at people and watch them in natural situation, which science you think should be more useful for you? Can you have a good science from psychology to observe people and find the results and find the reasons also of their behavior, or no? Sociology is better than psychology to observing and describing the reasons and results of the behavior. Which one do you love and why?
Which one what?
Which one? Which science do you love to use it for your observation, psychology or sociology, and why?
I think sociology is, I think psychology is like you with yourself. And sociology is you with
Other people.
society, right? I don't know. I can be wrong, but that's how I see it.
No. Only one part of psychology. It is called sometimes self-discovery, sometimes self-awareness. Everything related to the self is about you and yourself. My specific phrase is self-mining. I use self-mining. It is not about self-discovery. It is your self-mining. You should mining your personality, go deep and deep and deep and find the great. But other parts, no. For example, the greatest part of psychology is clinical psychology. Clinical psychology is describing a lot of mental health and mental illness. And these are observable in the social sets. Why? Because, for example, if you have a schizophrenia, so you have some auditory hallucination, perfect. After that, how can you find that it is hallucination or not? It is reality. It should be based on reality testing. And reality testing is done by other people, not by yourself. So only one part of psychology is about you and you.
I think she meant like individual, like psychology is more of like when you want to study an individual person.
Yeah.
Is that what you meant, Gabriella? And then like society is like when you want to study like the large group of people.
Yeah.
The major part is that you said it is about individual.
Yeah.
Also the interaction.
Like a lot of one-on-one.
Yeah, one-on-one, or one your, for example, family, or some people more than only one person. But the interaction between you and your group setting, for example, your family, your peer group, your society, and how people behave in social stages and social states. It is called social psychology. It is not sociology. It is social psychology. For example, if you go to an airport and said somebody, I'm a beggar, please give me $1. What are the reasons of that gentleman, of that lady behavior? If he or she give you money, why? If he or she didn't give you money, again, why? But sociology is the study of people, the unit of a study, the unit of a study. The smallest component of sociology is group, the smallest part. At the smallest size, why we are studying in sociology, we are studying group because of dynamic of group. So the smallest part of psychology is one person. You don't talk about the individuals in sociology, about the interaction between groups and groups, between teams and teams, between societies and societies. But both of them are originated from philosophy. About 2,000 years ago, all aspects of what you have called in the last 4 centuries as science, everything was philosophy at the first. The first baby, the first child, which was separated from philosophy as a science, and it said, no, I am not philosophy, I am science, was mathematics. The first child of philosophy was separated from philosophy was mathematics. After that, physics. After that, mechanics. After that, chemistry. After that, biology and other parts. The last child of philosophy who left the mother was psychology at the end of the 19th century. The last child. So psychology, in contrast with some sciences like physics, like chemistry, even like sociology, psychology is the youngest children who has separated, who are left out of the philosophical home of all sciences. But it is very, very consciousness raising, both sciences, psychology and also sociology. Oh, let's go to share this with you. Okay. You see here as the next managers and the next leaders of business, you see here groups and organizations. Okay. Which groups have had the greatest impact on your development? Which group?
What do you mean?
In your life, from your children
like
up to
my
now.
family, school, stuff like that.
Which group?
My military group probably had
military group. The highest and greatest impact?
Not maybe the highest. I thought you were saying like a great one.
Great.
But then a family would be the first.
Oh, so your family as a group has the greatest impact on you, more than your military group. So put it aside, your family, except of your family, your peer group, your family, your friends group, your social groups like a school, classmates, or military group, other everything except of your family. Which group has the greatest impact on you? You said military group, and about you, Gabriela?
I would say school.
School.
Like classmates.
Classmates, peer group, yeah. How have your group association changed based on the different stages in your life? Is there any change in your choosing a style, in your style and scales also for choosing people, new people as groups, or no? you are always with the same old groups that, for example, you live with them 10 years ago. Has your taste of choice, taste of choosing people has been changed during the last 10 years or not? You are the same one that 10 years ago were?
No, I think we're always evolving and reinventing ourselves in new groups fitting to the time period of our life and our social situations of where we're at, because you act differently. I could go to the PTA meeting and I will be in that group, and then I could go out with my girlfriends to have a cocktail and see a movie, and I will behave different in that setting with that group.
Perfect. You have experienced 3 types of groups before your marriage, the first groups between your marriage and your parenting, your motherhood, the second groups, and the groups after your motherhood. These are 3 different stages. Marital stage is a completely different stage. And in marital stage, at least you have 3 stages. Marriage without children, marriage with children, and again, marriage without children. The third part is called empty nest. Empty nest. It is the saddest part of marriage. In psychology, in family psychology, it is called empty nest. After growing a child and they will separate from you and go for their destiny, again, marriage is without children, but at the end of the life, not at the first of the life. It is called so sad, so sad stage in psychology. It is called empty nest. You are a bird without any egg. You are a bird without any children. So if you want, you can study about this stage. It is very important stage of family life, because family has its life cycle, different parts. But generally, all the theoreticians and all the thinkers about the family cycle, they said every family has 3 parts: couple, parent, emptiness. Couple is the wife and husband without children. Parenting is wife and husband with children. And emptiness, it is again wife and husband without children. And what kind of organizations do you belong to? It is a very important word, so belong. Do you have any sense of belongingness to any organization or not? If yes, how do you know that, yes, I have some belongingness, for example, to my university, to my military forces, to my company? What are the criteria of diagnosis that, yes, I have belongingness or not? I don't want you to answer me just now, because during the course, during the session, we will find the answers about the third question. Social groups, group characteristic, and dynamics. Group dynamics in every aspect of group study, in group therapy, in group psychology, in crowd psychology. We have a very, very important part of social psychology, so-called crowd psychology. For example, crowd psychology can say us why the movement of Black Lives Matter is different from the movement of protest for Mr. Trump's. It is about crowd psychology. It is not about social psychology. A very specific part of crowd psychology is talking about why crowds have such a behavior different from other. For example, American crowd has different behaviors than European crowd and other parts. And formal organization and global perspective, other native forms of organization and organizations in the future. Okay. Again, we have 8 questions here about the sociology and everyday life. Now, in this chapter, our questions is about social media and classroom. Also, please note that this course has been written before COVID-19. And before COVID-19, we didn't have a large amount of using social media for arranging a class. And we were in campus with the students, and sometimes some courses were online. But now all courses in all aspects of the world, in all areas of the world, are generally online or on live. So first question, a college student's privacy is protected when using a school-owned computer as long as he or she deletes from the computer all emails or other documents she or he has worked on, and thus prevent anyone else from examining those documents. How do you think? Is it true or false?
False.
Perfect. Second question. Parents of students at all U.S. colleges and universities are entitled to obtain the transcript of their children's college grades regardless of the student's age. Is true or false?
False.
So, the third question. If you work for a business that monitors phone calls with a pen register, your employee has a right to maintain and examine a list of phone numbers dialed by your extension and how long each call lasted. Is it true or false?
True.
True. Members of a high school football team can be required for submit to periodic and announced drug testing. It is true or false? Unannounced drug testing. It is true or false?
True.
Courtney, do you think it is true also?
True, yes.
A company has a right to keep its employees under video surveillance anywhere at the company's place of business, even in the restrooms. True or false?
False.
Absolutely false.
Mhm.
Cannot register anyone in the restroom.
No.
A professor can legally post a student's grades in public using each student's social security number as an, it is true or false?
No. False.
Never, never. Nobody can register your social security number in public. Students at a much youth group meeting who hear one member of the group confess to an illegal act can be required to divulge what the member said. Is true or false?
False.
True.
True or false?
True.
Gabriel, do you think it
Wait,
is?
let me read again.
Read it again. Why not?
Not sure. I think it's false. At a church, you? No. You went back. True.
Illegal act. It is not about your privacy.
Mhm.
It is a legal act. Even in psychotherapy, that the greatest part is confidentiality. Even in psychotherapy, with the commitment of the therapist to confidentiality. If, for example, someone said, I have killed someone, you should report to the legal part of your society. You should report. If you don't, then you are partner of that crime as a psychotherapist. But even only for illegal acts, not for privacy, not for example, out of the norm, abnormal, out of culture, nothing. It is confidentiality. Even about the approved with the legal crime, with the legal law about the crimes, if your partner, for example, client said, yes, I have done some types of illegal acts as a psychotherapist, even, you should report to the law enforcement. You apply for a job at a company that has more than 25 employees, your employee can require that you provide a history of medical background or take a physical examination prior to offering you a job. True or false?
False. That's false.
Gabriela, do you think true or false?
That's private information, like your medical record.
Good. What is social group? A social group is a collective of two or more people who interact frequently with one another, share a sense of belonging, and a feeling of interdependence. A social group is a collective of two or more people. First keyword is two or more, who interact frequently with one, so interact, share a sense of belonging, free belonging, have a feeling of interdependence. So, what are the keywords of social group?
Two or more and have a feeling of interdependence.
Interdependence, we have four. Other things, other words. One, more, two or more. Okay, two, interdependence, sense
Sense of
of,
belonging,
perfect, sense of belonging and
interaction, frequent interaction.
interaction. So we have
No,
four keywords here. Four keywords. One, two or more. Two, interact together. Three, sense of belonging. And four was
Interdependence.
interdependence. Okay. An aggregate is a collection of people who happen to be in the same place at the same time, but share little else in common. So what is the major difference in keywords between aggregate and social group? The major keyword difference. What is the difference? How can you
Collection.
differentiate what?
Collection of people
Uh-huh.
would share
No,
little.
collection of people is something like social group.
Share little in common.
Little, yeah. Share little. The
No
major
sense of
difference.
belonging.
Yeah. No belonging, no interdependence, no interact. Why? Because only little share. Only the same time at the same place. Just that. No share meaning, no share goals, no interaction, no sense of belonging, no sense of interdependence. A category is a number of people who may never happen one other but share a similar characteristic. What are the keywords of category? Two words, two major keywords.
Never met.
One is met. Okay, the second one?
Characteristic, similar
Yeah,
characteristic.
yeah. So don't forget, remember that when you find to have keywords, it is not important to have the positive or negative meaning of the keyword. The major part is to know the keyword, and while remembering the keyword, you should remember also the negative or positive word together with the keyword. For example, here it is not important you say have met one another. You say only met, and share a similar characteristic. You say only similar. So the keywords are met and similar. Other parts of the sentence, other parts of the contents, you should guess. Because of that, it is called keyword. It is golden words or golden keys. So we have three parts: social group with the shared meaning, with the shared interaction, sense of belonging, interaction frequently; aggregate or aggregation, which is only the same time and the same place with leader shared concepts; and category is never at the same time at the same place, but we have similar characteristics. Cooley has a scientist, sociologist has talked about the groups. Cooley's primary groups are small, less specialized groups in which members engage in face-to-face, emotion-based interactions over an extended period of time. But the secondary group are larger, more specialized group in which the members engage in more impersonal, goal-oriented relationships for a limited period of time. Same an example for primary groups in the theory of Cooley. An example, with the less specialized members, face-to-face, emotion-based interaction over an extended period of time. For example, family, family, or sport groups, but not for matching, not for championship, only for a sport. For example, 10 years, you go with your friends, for example, skiing on the snow. Is it a primary group? Yes. Less specialized. It is not about a championship. It is only having good emotion together at the weekend. For extended period of time, yes, it's for 10 years. The major part, the major difference here between primary groups and secondary groups in Cooley theory is that about the specialization. Primary groups are not specialized, are less specialized, or some things are not specialized at all. With no shared meaning to the future, it is not goal-oriented. Having a good time, having a fun time is the major goal, is the major outcome of the primary group. On the other hand, in secondary groups, based on the Cooley theory, we have some people work together for a shared meaning, for a shared goal. It is goal-oriented relationship. The time duration is so short, so short. It's a limited period of time. And it is very specialized and expert-based group. For example, working group or interest group. Another scientist, another sociologist, so-called Sumner, and group, an in-group is a group to which a person belongs and with which the person feels a sense of identity. For example, your racial group, your ethnical group, even your family. Sometimes in adolescence, children, young adults, no young adult, adolescents, people come to the gang. Gangs are very, very in-group. Why? Because sometimes gang group give you the sense of identity. Yes, I know it's in criminal. Yes, but it should have some types of identity to you. But an out group is a group to which person does not belong and toward which to the person may feel a sense of competitiveness or hostility. We are talking about the different types and different categorization of in-group and out-group. Can you give me a sample of out-group?
School, no.
No, school. It is not about the competition. Political parties. Your party is your in-group. Oppositional party is your out-group. If you are Republican, Democrat Party is your out-group. Republican Party is your in-group.
What about when your friends come over to watch football game? Your in group is your team that you're cheering for, and the out group are the against.
Yeah. If you are not the member of group, for example, if you are not a soccer man or soccer woman, or you are only an audience to see the match, it is not about competition. It is about hostility. Competition is there for the same and for the just members of the soccer team. But you are only a fan. So with you and all your other friends, it is a sense of hostility about it. Is not competition is for the players, not for you. Fans have hostilities, players have competition. But yes, every type of competition. In addition to your book, I don't know I have said about it or not, but if I have said to you, it is good to repeat again. But if I didn't say to you, it is good to listen to me for the first time. In the concept of stakeholder, every type of a stakeholder, it is not about only about money. Stakeholder is someone who has some shared benefits with you. His or her or your decisions have some effect and impact on his or her decisions. and vice versa. These are stakeholders. These are not shareholders, stakeholders. In a stakeholder or stakeholding, we have 5 positions. Number 1, I don't want to enter the game, and I don't want you enter the game. This position is called avoidance. It is lose-lose game. Lose-lose game. It is about the avoidance, sorry, doesn't enter the game. Second part, you say, I should win the game. It is winner, loser, or win-lose game. When you want in a game, in a stakeholder, you want the decisions only for yourself and not for your other parts, your other partner. It is competition. So in competition, the intention of competition is only one side winning, not 2 sides. Competition is a game of win-lose game. Sometimes you are tired in a long period of time in a very bad relationship with someone and say, wow, you are winner, get me free of your hand. It is the time of accommodation. Accommodation is lose-win game. You want to see and you want to give everything to your partner or to other parts of the game and say goodbye to the game and everything which is in it. It is accommodation. So we have avoidance, competition, and accommodation. The 4th part is about when you say, I want to lessen my lose and also lessen your lose. Less losing. It is lose-lose game, but with the lower rate of losing. It is called compromise. Compromise. It is compromise. Lose myself, lose yourself, but okay, it's a good and balanced situation. The 4th and the best situation, the best state is win-win game. Win-win game in this part of the game is called collaboration. So we have avoidance out of the game, lose-win game, win-lose game, competition, lose-win game, accommodation, lose-lose game, compromise, and win-win game. It is collaboration. These are the 5 stages that you can use for every game you are entering in your life. Yes. What are the reference groups? Reference groups are groups that strongly influence a person's behavior and social attitudes, regardless of whether that individual is an actual member. Which is the major reference group and you are an actual member? For example, your family, your original family is your basic reference group and you are an actual member. But regardless of whether that you are an actual member, for example, your ideology about the world, if you are, for example, socialist, or you are capitalist, or you are imperialist, you are Taoist, you are Muslim, you are Christian, you are Jew, every type of ideology that or worldview you can have accept by your own self, but you are not the actual member of that group. It is your reference group. Reference group is the group you choose to copy their thinking about the world. It is called worldview. But now we are entering some concepts which are very, very important in the business and in the industry. One of them is network. You know, 21st century business century has the major and its main parts of business. It is called network. For example, multi-level MLM, it's multi-level marketing, MLM, multi-level marketing, or referral marketing, or networking marketing, or pyramid marketing, all are about the network marketing. A network is a web of social relationship that links one person with other people, and through them with other people they know. It's like a pyramid. One person to two person to two person. So one person with six person, two person with two person, and two person, one person is 10 person. Everyone only with two person. The new two persons again with the newest two person. So it is like a pyramid from top to downer and to lower levels. But group size. Small group is a group that is collectively small enough for all members to be acquainted with one another and to interact simultaneously. Is small group. It may be dyad, which is 2 members, or triad, 3 members. You can see growth of possible social inter based on the group size. In group size 3, group size 4, group size 5, and we can see other parts of every type of interaction between people based on the group size. More group size, more greater group size, we can find some more complicated interaction between the groups. And how can we consider 2 persons as a group? For example, can you consider a couple as a group?
I think so.
Yes, a small one. Group size.
Yes, I know it's more than 1 person. What other features of group?
Because they have a sense of belonging and they interact and they have shared interdependence.
If you have a share riding with another passenger in Uber, are you with that passenger a group? Only for 1 hour, for example.
A temporary group.
Is there any sense of belongingness or share meaning or share goal? Also, you have share goal. Reduction your cost of taxi driving, for example. Yes. But other parts, are you group?
No.
Why?
Because you don't share a sense of belonging with each other. You don't have you could not have any similar characteristics. You have the shared interest of getting from point A to point B.
Yeah.
But that's really a minimal shared interest.
So consider that the major part of organizing and shaping a group is sense of belongingness.
Yes.
Based on the share meaning and share goal. Why we have some sense of belongingness together? Because of stakeholders, because of sometimes shareholders, non-financial shares, non-financial stakes. We are stakeholders. Your decision has a good or bad but heavy impact on my decisions, and vice versa. My decisions have a good or bad impact on your decisions. Because of that, we say that yes, if you are only 2 persons, but you have a share meaning or a share goal for you and your partner, yes, you are a group. Yeah, because of it is a synergic. You can study about the synergic effect. Synergic effect is saying that summation of 2 parts, 2 individual parts, 2 separate parts, summation of 2 separation parts together at the same time is something more than addition of 2 them. For example, 1 plus 1 is not equal to 2. It is equal to 2.2. That 0.2 is the synergic effect. Also, it is not about the mathematics. It is about the human groups and about some quantum parts of the nature. So, welcome to the world of leadership. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. Everything began with the Word. And the first thing you should find for a group is a manager, is a group former, someone who forms the group, someone who organizes the group, someone who shapes the group. After that, you need someone to think about the future of the group. A group without a leader go down to the hell. Every type of group, to the fire, to the sabotage, everything sabotage. So you should find a leader for your group. Because of that, in the discussion about the groups and types of groups and says the size of groups and the belonging to group and other features of the group, we should talk about the leadership styles. Why? Because every group needs a good leader to push the group forward to the future and determine what types of future, what types of goal we want to achieve in the future. Without that, we cannot do anything for the groups. So, authoritarian leaders, democratic leaders, and laissez-faire leaders. Authoritarian leaders make all major group decisions and assign tasks to members. What is the other name for authoritarian leaders? They are authoritarianism. The other name of authoritarianism is?
Dictatorship?
Yes, perfect, dictatorship. Make all major group decisions and assign tasks to members. You don't have any right to say anything for or maybe against the leader. He or she is the authoritarian leader. He or she is dictator. Only decision, you make the decisions and sign it to other people. Do you have any authoritarian approach in yourself? Have you found any authoritarian approach in yourself? Yes, sometimes I love to be an authoritarian leader. For example, as a mother, as a daughter, as a worker. Can you find any trait of authoritarian in yourself or not?
Yes.
Do you love to be sometimes authoritarian, but you don't have any good force to assign tasks to other people, or they don't have any obedience from you? But if they obey you, you say, yes, sometimes I love to be a dictator. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
What is the difference between dictatorship and authority? Are the same? Authority and dictatorship.
I'm not sure.
What's the meaning of authority? Operational definition, not conceptual, not the meaning. It's operational definition. When I can say, no, he's not a dictator. He's an authoristic man. He has a good power for other people. Yes, he has authority, but not dictator. Or sometimes just, yes, he is a dictator. Or he is an authoritarian leader. What is different between authority and authoritarian?
When I think, well, when I think of dictator, it's one person making all the rules and dictating the punishments and all of that. Like an authoritarian leader can make all major group decisions and assign tasks to members, but kind of take in an account of others' opinions. Isn't it correct? And a dictator is just solely on what they want to do and what they think.
So do you think dictators doesn't accept the accountability of their decisions or not? Do you think they accept the accountability and responsibility of their decisions, dictators or not? They said, yes, this is my decision. Even good or bad, this is my decision. Dictator said this, and I will accept the accountability and responsibility of my decision or no. They said, yes, it's my decision, but it's not related only to me. It is all for all. Why have you made some decisions? Because I have a good mind about the decision making. Sometimes you will hear some sentences like these from dictators. Because every effective leader should have some types of authority. If you are a leader, if you are a manager, if you are a parent, you should have authority. If you are a psychotherapist, you should have authority. It doesn't mean that you don't understand what other people are saying. It just means that finally you will have some good decisions about the situations. But in dictatorship, you think that the only good thinking about the situation is your thinking. You don't listen to other people. Dominant people, dictator people are not good listeners. Never. Dominant people are not. If you want to be a good listener, you cannot be a dominant. And what about the democratic leaders? Encourage group discussion and decision making through consensus building. Do you believe in consensus or not? Do you think common sense is a good rationality or not?
It's a good what?
Common sense. For example, the matters that a lot of people think it is true or not. Do you think when the majority of people think that
Yes.
something is true, it is true? Common sense is meant, consensus is meant. Democracy is meant. Demo is meant in Latin word. Demo is people. Crazy is dominance. Democracy is dominancy of people, word by word. Do you think a majority of people know what is the best choice for them or not?
Yeah.
Do you believe in democracy with this meaning?
Mm-hmm.
So now in the 20th century, we have a very powerful influencing force, very, very powerful influence force, so-called social media and also mass media. They wash your brain every day. Social media and mass media wash your brain. They said what is good or what is bad. And sometimes, in a lot of times, why sometimes? In a lot of times, many times, you are confused about the right or wrong. Why? These channels say something and that channel says something else in a position. And both of them says, based on the research facts, and I ask question, what are the facts and what the research you are talking about? Every channel, at least in America, every channel says, based on the researching facts. I said, sorry, which research? Your own research? It should be on the scientific method of research. And many people obey the views and the thinking and the idea of media. And we can manage social anxiety. We can manage social anxiety. We can create social anxiety. So with this very powerful impact on the mind of people, do you think that the view of a majority of people is always the best choice? Yes, it can be a choice, I know. And you should accept because it is democracy, I know. But do you think everything that a lot of people think it is correct with these brainwashing systems?
No.
With this brainwashing. I love democracy. I'm talking about the playing game with people's mind. I'm talking about it. I'm talking about the brainwashing. I'm talking about the toxification of a lot of people's mind in politics, in economy, in the wars, and I am talking about the conspiracy theory. Because of that, some new philosophers and new thinkers say we should have some good criteria for diagnosis, for differentiate between good and bad, and give them to people that please think based on these criteria. Everything out of this, it is called in psychology emotional reasoning. Please read about this phrase. It is very useful for managing an organization. Emotional reasoning. Sorry, but major part of reasoning, human reasoning, are not logical reasoning and rational reasoning. These are emotional reasoning. I asked them why. They said, I said, so it's my taste. I said, yes, it's good for you to have your own taste and regard your own taste. But it's a very important decision. How can you have an important decision about your life only because of you like it? It is called emotional reasoning, not rational reasoning, not logical reasoning. And the third part of leaders are laissez-faire leaders, are only minimally involved in decision making and encourage group members to make their own decisions. Have you seen laissez-faire leaders in your family? How do you think about this type of leadership in a family? For example, you say to your son, okay, it's not important for me, everything you want to do, you can do it at the age of 7 or at the age of 9. You should accept your responsibility. I'm a laissez-faire father. He or she doesn't have any eligibility, any competency for accepting his or her social roles, his or her rational thinking. It is very easy, very light leadership.
Or like a parent who doesn't set a bedtime.
Yeah.
That child's not going to put themselves to bed at appropriate time every night.
Sometimes every night you have some argument about the bedtime. Sometimes. For example, for 5 years. Yes, why not? It's a rule. It's a psychological rule. But you say, okay, baby, every time you want to sleep later or sooner, no bad, why not? You are a free man, free woman. It's not a matter of freedom. It's a matter of competency to have freedom. It is a matter of eligibility to have freedom. It's about the rationality of freedom, not only freedom. Because of that, laissez-faire leaders or laissez-faire parenting style is a garbage thing that destroy everything in your life. Everything. Even research findings shows that even laissez-faire parenting is worse than authoritarian parenting. It's worse than that. Because just like these systems, we have in parenting, we have three parenting style: authoritarian parenting style, democratic parenting style, and laissez-faire parenting style. Laissez-faire parenting style is worse than even authoritarian leaders. The first ranking is democratic parenting style. Second one, authoritarian parenting style. And the third one, the worst scenario for parenting and also for leadership, is laissez-faire style. Why? Because you are not involved. Such a parent you are. Such a leader you are.
Or if you just let your employees, come in whenever in the morning, just come in the morning, and how many people would actually come in at 8 or 9?
Before adulthood, you are not the friend of your children. Before adulthood, you are the trainer. You are not friend. After adulthood, when They come at your, not age, but at your social level, at your common sense about the society and the social life. After that, you can be their friend. Before the legal age, you are not the friend of your children. You are their trainer because you are responsible. You should answer their fault. From the daytime, they can be independent, and they can go legally for their own life. Okay, after that, we are friends together. Why not? Everything you want, and I can choose my friend and I can reject my friend. Why not? Before that, you are trainer because you are responsible. I have a lot of problems with the with people or with parents that I think, yes, we should be friend with our children from their first years. Yes, you can have some friendly behavior, intimate behavior. It is something different from being friend and say, yes, you can do anything you want. He or she is not eligible to think about the which is wrong or which is right for him or her. Because of that, yes, it doesn't mean that you should have some, for example, anger against them every time you see your children. No, why not? You can have some kindness, compassion about them. But in orders, in decision making, you are not friend. You are a very, very wise, realistic, deep, and sometimes rigid parents until the age of the legal age. And conformity is the process of maintaining or changing behavior to comply with the norms established by a society, subculture, or other group. It's a process of conformity. I think I have upload a video for you in the Moodle this week or next week about the groupthink. Groupthink is the process by which members of a cohesive group arrive at a decision that many individual members' private belief is unwise. It is very interesting. How can a group have such decisions? It is groupthink. And groupthink is not about the decision. It is about the process by which members of a cohesive group arrive at a decision that many individual members privately believe is unwise. So why they obey the groupthink? Because it is the force of group. We don't want to be rejected by our group members, by our co-workers, classmate, or for example, roommate and family members, every type of group we can consider. Two or more people. Don't forget, if you want to be a good leader in your life, in all aspects of your life, sorry, but you should learn some rigid, very, very rigid, wise skills. Very rigid but wise skills. The first one is the first social skill you should know. If you want to be a good, effective leader, the first skill is saying no, telling no other people. It is the first rigid but very, very wise skill you should know to lead other people. Second one is to say your own view in every aspect of your life. Independent view, independent idea. It is very important for leadership in all aspects of your life. Sorry, but effective leaders, especially in social aspect, not in organizational aspect, effective leaders don't change their mind, don't change their idea so easily. Because if they change their idea, such a leader they are. And courage. Courage is very important. If you don't feel good courage, high ranking of courage in yourself, you are not a good candidate for being a leader. At the best scenario, you can be a good manager. Only a good manager, not a good leader. A normative organization is one who voluntarily join to pursue a common interest or gain personal satisfaction or prestige from being a member. It is a normative organization. For example, charities, or when you go to work with homelesses free of charge. It's a good resume for you and a good prestige for you also. Don't think that a lot of celebrities are very, very, very high level and high intellectual people. Many of them go to help other people only for their reputation, their prestige. And coercive organization and association, people are forced to join. For example, military forces. I don't know in America it is forceful or not, but in my country, for males, for men, it is forceful. It is mandatory. All males should go to military for 2 years. If they go to the university after high school, perfect. After university, they should go to military forces. If you go to a bachelor degree and directly go to master degree, okay, after master degree, they should go. If they go straight until the PhD, okay, after PhD, they should go to military force for 2 years. But the level of service is very different. When you go only for a high school diploma, it is very hard because you do very simple works in the army. When you go by proficiency as a bachelor degree, it is better. Go, for example, with master or PhD, it is very different, but it is mandatory. Without that, you cannot have a passport to go out of the country. It is mandatory for you. Except of some items, for example, if you have some mental disorders or serious physical problems, or you are single parent and you are the responsible of money for your mother, especially for your mother, not for your father, and other things. Yeah, there are some legal items to be waived from going to mandatory military duration for 2 years. But ordinarily, you should go as a man. This is for not for a woman. And a utilitarian organization is one we voluntarily join to be provided with a material reward. It is voluntary, but for material reward. Question? Consider the organization you belong to. Are they normative, coercive, or utilitarian? Okay, have a break for 15 minutes, and after that, come back to the class. Welcome back. So we are waiting for Courtney to come back to the session. And welcome back, Courtney. Smart working is based on the assumption that innovation is crucial and that organizational leaders must be able to use the talents and energies of the people who work with them. Do you know anything about the Gallup? What is Gallup? Which company? Gall, I think UP or OUP, Gallup. The most credentialed company all around the world about research. The title is Gallup, Gallup Company. The research finding of Gallup is based on, for governmental people, for governments to make decisions based on the findings of this company all around the world. One specific part of Gallup is about strength finding. If you have a good money to take the courses of strength finding of Gallup, after strength coaching, after you will be a strength finding coach from Gallup, you will have a good salary all around the world. It's very important. So smart working is based on the assumption that innovation is crucial, at first innovation, and energize of people who work, talents and energize of the people who work with them. These are relatively the new approaches to leadership, not based on the force, not based on the power, not based on the regulation, based on the people talents, innovation, self-regulation. When can you have a good self-regulation? When you have some signature strengths. Signature strengths are the strengths that when you work on them, you feel that, yes, it's me. It's my best version. It is my real me. It is called signature strength. For example, if you have a good talent in mathematics and no talent, for example, in literature, every time you are doing some calculation, you say, perfect, it's me. And when you want to, for example, read a novel in literature, you said, wow, so hard it is. And vice versa also. If you have some good talent in working with people and you are a mid-level manager or a human resource manager, it's good. But if you have a good relationship skills and you want to work in an assembly part of a company, it's very hard for you. It's very hard for you. So working based on the people talents, based on the people strengths is very smart. Is very, very smart. Give less, take more. Give less, take more. Why? Because you give people something which is very adaptable with them. Very adaptable with them. Oh, so it is about the quiz. Okay. You can see also in this picture, it's not so new, about the normative organizations, such as the Red Cross, rely on volunteers to fulfill their goals. Before the World War II, we don't have any good normative organizations. After World War II, people all around the world decided to unify together to have a good society for all people all around the world. But during the Cold War between America and USSR, again, everything back to the same place before the World War II. Why? The enemy became so hidden, doesn't destroy. So became so hidden. And after that, now you can see some part of very, very observable hostility between the countries. And many people all around the world, many leaders all around the world have such worrying about the future, especially in Canada, especially in North Europe, in the Scandinavian countries, socialistic countries that they want to have a very peacefully lives with other people, and also in America. But in the southern of Europe, in Southern American countries, in Middle East countries especially, we have a lot of waves of fight and hostility against other countries because of that. Such organization like normative organization, like for example Red Cross, may be destroyed in the future. And we are going back to the first point before World War II. Okay, you can see the characteristic of groups and these parts of organization. Primary group, small, less specialized group, secondary group, in-group, out-group, and reference group. We have these types of social groups. And about the size, we have dyad and triad and formal organization. And types of formal organizations are normative, coercive, and utilitarian. Okay. A bureaucracy is an organizational model characterized by a hierarchy of authority, a clear division of labor, explicit rules and procedures, and impersonality in personnel matters. It's very important. Very, very important. The first model for organizing a company was bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is an organizational model. It is based on the very rigid rules, no flexible rules. For the first year, it is, I think, by Max Weber. For the first years of the organizational management, yes, it was good. For the first decades, but it has a lot of heavy extra work the person should do only for bureaucracy. After that is rationality. Rationality is the process by which traditional method of social organizations characterized by informality and spontaneity are gradually replaced by efficiently administered formal rules and procedures. What is the difference? The major difference is that when you have a good bureaucracy, you cannot have a good flexibility for organizing your organization. And rationality helps you to question about the traditional procedures, that if they are effective now or not. According to Max Weber, an ideal type of bureaucracy is an abstract model that describes the recurring characteristic of some phenomenon, including division of labor, it's very important, hierarchy of authority, the general manager, the board of directors, the head of each section, the mid-level managers, co-workers, and associates and other parts, hierarchy of authority from top to 10, from top to toe, and rules and regulations. It is documented by papers, especially about, for example, 100 years ago. And qualification-based employment, it is about the hiring process, about the ISO, International Standard Organization, and it should be evidence-based and qualification-based employment. And impersonality, it is not related to you as a person, it is about the company. Characteristic and effects of bureaucracy are at first division of labor, hierarchy of authority, rules and regulations, qualification based, and effects are inefficiency and rigidity, resistant to change, reputation for race, class, and gender inequalities. Why? Because it talks about the rules and regulations. Honestly, if I want to talk to you about the greatest negative effect of bureaucracy is resistance to change. Bureaucracy is very, very change resistance. Never change. Also, you cannot find it so in many countries. You cannot find it. It has changed to the newest models of organizing and administering their organization. It is very, very, very famous word, McDonaldization. Efficiency, predictability, emphasis on quantity over quality, and control through non-human technologies. Why it is called McDonaldization? Why? How do you think about the origins of McDonald's? Are these the specific features of McDonald's? Efficiency, predictability, quantity, and non-human technologies.
Fica aí. Não?
How do you think, Courtney or Gabriela? Why it is called McDonaldization?
McDonald's
Quantity over quality, because it's like fast food, so they don't really care about quality. It's just like quantity, like food, and
it's the bureaucracy of McDonald's.
yeah.
What is the greatest feature of McDonald's in contrast with other chain stores, fast food stores?
It's fast.
Fast, yeah.
Fast.
That's the only thing that is good about it, I think.
Only fast? No, it is
cheap.
Very cheap.
Yeah.
Honestly, it is garbage. It's not a good food. Everybody knows it, but it is very cheap.
Yeah.
And also very fast. And more important than everything, it is about non-human technologies. High tech. The symbol of high tech in fast food industry is McDonald's.
The touchscreen ordering systems.
Yeah. It is the high tech company. So about the money, because of quantity over quality, it is about the high tech technology, and it is about the rapid and very fast. Honestly, what I want to talk about the word fast food. Fast food is originated from McDonald's. You know that two companies have changed the eating behavior all around the world. First, McDonald's, and second, KFC. They have changed the culture of eating all around the world in the history of human beings. Usage of red meat, usage of beef, usage of burgers before and after McDonald's have been changed. Totally. And usage of, cultural usage of these types of KFC has changed before KFC and after KFC. The culture of eating chicken. It is a type of culturalization, producing some type of eating culture, specific culture of eating, before McDonald's and after McDonald's. People has habituated to go to McDonald's and very fast, very cheap, and very high volume of food they can eat. Why? Because it is cheap and very fast, very, very fast. You pay money and after some seconds sometimes, you will receive your food. This phenomenon in sociology is called McDonaldization. It is something like McDonald's. The informal side of a bureaucracy is composed of those aspects of participants' day-to-day activities and interactions that ignore, bypass, or don't correspond with the official rules and procedures of the bureaucracy, the informal side. And problem of bureaucracy, inefficiency and rigidity at first. Goal displacement occurs when the rules become an end in themselves rather a means to an end. And organizational survival becomes more important than achievement of goals. So it is not about the quality of job. It is about the quantity and persistency of job. The second or sometimes third priority in bureaucracy is about the quality of job, high quality of job. At first, that the organization should survive until for a long time, yes. Bureaucratic personality describe those workers who are more concerned with following correct procedures than they are with getting the job done correctly. It is very important. As a critic against bureaucracy, it is very important, very, very important. And resistant to change and perpetuation of race, class, and gender inequality. The iron law of oligarchy is the tendency to become a bureaucracy ruled by the few. It is oligarchy. Anarchy, monarchy, oligarchy, or oligarchy. The iron law, it is very rigid. It's the tendency to become a bureaucracy ruled by the few, very, very specific, elite people, selected people. Consider this according to conflict theorists and alternative forms of organizations. Humanizing bureaucracy is a movement to establish an organizational environment that develops rather than impedes human resources. After some decades, they saw that such a destroying, such a damaging, such a harmful system is traditional bureaucracy. Very harmful for organizations, for the co-workers, for the managers. It is non-humanistic. It is not humanistic. It is non-humanistic. After some years, they saw. So finally, they decided to enter some humanistic approach, not only organizational and not organizational development. It is about organizational survival only survival, not development. Even it was good for organizational development, we say, yes, it is not so humanistic, but it is traditional system and we want to develop our organization. Everybody is not easy for this. Okay, he or she can leave the company. But after some years, the manager says, even there is no development in organization. Why? Because the components, the building components, the building elements of the companies and organizations are people, are individuals. When individuals are not satisfied with the organization basically cannot develop at any aspects of the organizations. So, humanizing bureaucracy is a movement to establish an organizational environment that develops rather than impedes human resources. Less rigid hierarchy, encourage participants to share their ideas. It is very important, sense of belongingness to the company, share your idea. It is not like a prison, it's an organization, a living being, and reducing the number of people in dead-end job. Or for example, the Japanese model of organization, including planned group exercise sessions for employees, has become a part of the workplace in many nations. Perfect. Will it be a positive change if more workplace settings, such as the one shown here, were viewed as an extension of the family? Why or why not? Forget the traditional models of organization and management. It doesn't work at all. Psychologically, it doesn't work. Financial doesn't work. Marketing doesn't work at all in any aspect of marketing. Traditional procedure doesn't work. Why? Because after entering the 21st century, especially after entering COVID-19, the humanistic approach to marketing has become increasing and increasing and increasing. Every day, you can find a lot of articles, academic articles about the considering humanistic approach, humanistic components of your products in marketing. Why? Because people, they have gone to their home. There's no shopping. There's no traditional shopping. So you should know how to use internet for marketing, how to work with people in marketing, in internet marketing. A socially sustainable organization refers to organizations that take into account the social effects of organizational activities on workers and other persons in community, the nation, and also the global level. Do you think socially sustainable organization will be more popular in the United States or other nations? It should be. Also, the book is before COVID, but it should be accepted and popular. You can see here, for example, in Google. Welcome to Google. Smart working. Smart working is based on the assumption that innovation is crucial and that people should have flexibility in where, when, and how they work. Do non-traditional office spaces like this one reflect the ideas of smart working? Why not? Yes. The concept of authority, the concept of power, the concept of control, the concept of supervision, the concept of monitoring has been changed. The concept has been changed. Everything has added a self to it. For example, organizational supervision has become self-supervision. Organizational monitoring has become self-monitoring. Organizational authority has become self-authority. Organizational power has become self-power. We are working on the self of people to become better people for themselves. After that, absolutely, they can be better workers for us. Sick people, ill people, people with a lot of mental disorders cannot be good people for themselves. What are you talking? Are you talking about to be good for you as a manager? It's a joke. So positive people with a moral people, high moral people, courageous people, innovative people, sustainable people, you will go to the work and see that the rate of turnover is very high cost for a company, very, very high cost. A lot of training, a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of forces has charged for training and getting someone ready for entering the job. And after all of these, he or she said, goodbye, I'm going out. It is turnover. If people don't love and don't like also, not love, don't like to work with you as a reputation, as an honor, as a good sense of self, finally they will use your profitable workers, even the workers that doesn't have any good organizational value, not humanistic value. Humanistic, every human being has a very, very high humanistic value. But as a manager, you should think about your organization. As an organization, you should think about the co-workers and employee. And as the employee, this part of smart working is the greatest and the most influential part of working on your employees. Okay, perfect. Any question? Okay. The next part is about deviance and crime also. Total number of reported violent crimes increases each year in the United States. True or false?
False.
False. Perfect. Aggravated assaults account for the highest number of violent crimes in this country. True or false?
True.
Firearms is used more often all murders in the United States.
True.
Have we checked this section in the previous session or not?
I don't think so.
I think so, yeah. Despite extensive media coverage about mass killing, shooting, personal raid in the United States. Despite expensive media coverage about mass killing, shooting spears are rare in the United States. How do you think?
False.
The West is the most violent region in the United States. West
False.
or East?
False. East.
The presence of more guns tends to indicate the likelihood of more homicide.
Well, true.
Residents in urban area experience the highest rates of violence.
True.
And each year, about 50% of violent victimizations are reported to the police.
50%, yeah, true.
Okay. Any behavior, belief, or condition. Any behavior, belief, even belief. Not only action, not only behavior. Any behavior, belief, or condition that violates significant social norms in the society or group in which it occurs. It is deviance. About the social norms, norms of group, norms of society. So please pay attention. Note that when you are talking about normal, you are not talking about healthy. Something may be normal, but not healthy. Norm is about the number and amounts of people and the fraction of people that they are doing something together. For example, 50%. More than 50% is norm, yes. About 68% is very norm, yeah. The middle 68%, the middle 70% of people are normal. But it doesn't mean that it is absolutely healthy. Healthy is something else. For example, more than 70% of people, American citizens in the state of Texas, have this serious obesity. Obesity in Texas is normal? Yes. Is it healthy? No. Overweight is normal in America? Yes. It is healthy? No. To be normal doesn't mean it is absolutely correct or absolutely healthy. Many things are normal, are norms. A lot of people act, behave, think, or feel in that way. Because of that, I ask about the originality and authenticity and correctness of democracy, of majority of people. How do you think? How do they think? Even many people think wrong. It is normal. Yes. It is democratic. Again, yes. It is true. No. Because of brainwashing, because of conspiracy theory, because of a lot of external factors that can influence the methodology and the content and the form of context of how people think about themselves, about the society, about the future, about the past life history, and other things. Because of that, normal is not absolutely healthy. Sometimes it is healthy, sometimes it's not. The critical variable in the study of deviance then is social audience rather than individual actor, since it is the audience which eventually determines whether or not any episode of behavior or any class of episode is labeled deviant by Katie Erickson. Do you consider this guy deviant? Do you think he is normal? He is like other people or not? Courtney, do you think he is normal?
No, I think he is being deviant against what our Western culture defines as normal. I think it is a little bit deviant.
Why?
Because typically you don't see as many people walking around with pink mohawks and lip piercings.
You use the word many people.
Mm-hmm.
Like many people. He is not like many people. It is not wrong. It is not right. It is his choice. No problem. It's a country of freedom. But it is not normal. You cannot find a lot of people here, for example. But it is culture based. In some states, in some cities, in some streets, in some neighborhoods, you can find a lot of people like this guy. In those areas, it is normal? Yes, because you can find many people like him. But in some states, in some streets, in some neighborhoods, it's so rare to see such a guy. In those areas, and generally speaking, in the general population, for example, of America, is he bad or good? No. It's land of freedom. Not good, not bad. It's a choice. But it's not normal. And what about crime? A crime is a behavior that violation criminal law and is punishable with fines, jail terms, and or negative sanctions. So when can we call it something deviant as a crime? It's a behavior. At first, it's a behavior. Your intention is a crime? No. Your feeling is a crime? No. It should be abnormal or normal, not related to the court. Your actions, your behavior. So a crime is a type of action, is a type of behavior that violation criminal law and punishable and is punishable. So the basic part of diagnosing that something is crime or not, it is criminal law. In all countries all around the world, we have very documented and written and registers criminal law. So for each crime in criminal law, they have set some types of punishments like fines, jail terms, and negative sanctions. And juvenile delinquency refers to a violation of law or the commission of a status offense by young people. Juvenile is sometimes about, ordinary it is about teenage. It is juvenile delinquency, but it is very normal vocabulary in families. And social control refers to the systematic practices that social groups develop in order to encourage conformity to norms, rules, and laws, and to discourage deviance. It is about social controls, the tools a society has to put in the right, to put the laws in the right place for other people, to obedient to give an obedience to the law, not deviance, not violation. And criminology is a systematic study. Don't forget, when you use logi as a suffix for every word, it means systematic study. It means scientific study. Sociology, psychology, biology, criminology is a systematic study of crime and the criminal justice system, including the police, courts, and the prisons. So one part of criminology is about crime. Other parts, it's about criminal justice systems. Functionalist perspectives of deviance. According to Durkheim, deviance is rooted in social factors such as rapid social change and lack of social interaction among people. Because of that, you can see a lot of crimes in immigrant people. Why? They lose their lack of belongingness to their, they lose the belongingness to their society. Why? Because they are immigrants. Deviance serves three functions: clarify rules, united a group, promotes social change. It's very important. Clarify rules, united a group, and promotes social group. Especially note that and concentrate on the second function, united a group. Sometimes because doing a crime, other members of group will be unified with the criminal person to have a good unification with each other against a shared enemy. Because of that, we can find some types of gang group in poor people. Why? Because they want to be together to fighting against, for example, rich people. Martin's strength theory argues that people feel strain when they are exposed to cultural goals that they are unable to obtain because they don't have access to culturally approved means of achieving those goals. It is something like parenting. If your expectation from your children is higher than their talents or your means, when I want something from my son, I should give him some means to achievement. I don't give him any means, and I said, yes, you should be successful by your own self. It's not efficient. It doesn't work. So we have two parts. One, goals. Two, means of production, means of achieving the goals. Some part of means of achieving the goals is the talent, is the capacity, is the ability to achieving the goals. Other parts is material means, like money, like for example, tools and training and other parts. Together these components will shape a good combination for achieving the goals. Except of that, you cannot achieve your goals in the proper time or in a rational, at first, rational manner. You see here, method of adaptation, model of adaptation is conformity, innovation, and ritualism, and ritualism and rebellion. A method of adaptation in conformities accepts culturally approved goals, pursues them through culturally approved means. Goals and means are culture based. They seek culture's goals? Yes. They follow culture approved way? Again, yes. You are conformist. Such a good man or woman you are conformist. You obey everything in your culture. Perfect citizen. Other parts, innovation, accept culturally approved goals. adopt disapproved means of achieving them. So between conformists and innovators, both of them accept cultural goals. But in conformists, they accept also only culturally accepted means, but in innovation, they don't accept only culturally accepted means. They can accept some of the non-culturally accepted means out of the culture, new cultures. Ritualism, retreatism, and rebellion, the highest part is rebellion, challenges both the approved goals and the approved means to achieve them. No seeks to replace, only seek to replace everything in other things. Okay, now you have 15 minutes to answer the questions, and I am here if you have any question about the questions. Any question just now?
No.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Be prepared for the midterm exam. Be prepared. Study hard. It's very important.
Is there anything in specific? Just review the. Is it essay questions?
It's not your question because you are the toughest student. You study everything. No, it's a joking. It's not so hard. It's not so hard. But they study everything. Okay. Go for the weekly quiz.